Black movie watcher. Haven't talked to y'all in a while, but I had to talk about this governor's race in Virginia. I've been trolling my friends from Virginia for the last couple of years, all the elections they've lost. And you know what I said to them? I said, the reason why you all lost elections and subsequently lost freedom and stuff like that is because you all didn't show up. Republicans, I'm just going to be honest, I'm a conservative, but I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. Republicans, by their very nature, are lazy. Now at work-wise, conservatives, Republicans, they want to work for what they get. They don't want handouts. Some won't even take handouts at all. But the problem with conservatives is let me say Republicans. Your traditional Republican believe that everything will work out for the best. Let's try to get along with the Democrats and the leftists. And once they see that we trying to give them a little something, they'll come around. That is stupid. They'll never come around. The leftists or the left always has to have something to be upset about. They will never cease to be offended about anything. If you give them one issue that they like, they'll come up with something else. If you give them that, they'll come up with something else. It never ends. And so they stepped back in the day. They used to say stepped on your, you know what I'm talking about. But they stepped on their ding-a-ling. And this is how they did it in 2021. They started messing with people's kids. They started injecting leftist theology into the school system, into the elementary school level. And people said, okay, that's enough. The parents in America, not just in Virginia, in all of America, put their foot down and said, that's it. Don't mess with my kids. You can raise taxes. You can play with the gas prices. You can try to cancel this, cancel that. You can ban me from Facebook, Twitter, all that. But when you mess with my kids, then you done screwed up. And that's basically where most people in America are, regardless of what party they with. When you start messing with their kids, that politics crap goes out the window. And that's what they did this time. They started trying to push critical race theory, where they try to frame everybody who's a certain skin color as a racist inherently without even knowing they're racist. And they trying to teach kids that these kids is born a certain way are already racist because of where they born. For instance, you got white skin, you born a racist. You already a racist, even though you may not know it. And if you have brown skin, I call it brown skin because black is the color of my interior of my car. If you have brown skin complexion, that you already born as a victim, and you already behind the 8 ball. You're oppressed. And that's not true. So that's what they were teaching in schools in a nutshell. I can't get deep into it, but that stuff is what was supposed to be taught to college age kids so that they can look into what they call systematic racism and doing their studies or whatever. And it's supposed to also be debated at a college level. But when you do it to kids, That's an indoctrination. That's an indoctrination. You might ask, why he keep looking around? Man, I'm in Forestville, Maryland. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. You better keep your head on a swivel when you're in Forestville, Maryland. Now, back to what I'm talking about. So, the election came. Personally, I didn't think that Glenn Youngkin had a chance. Not because he didn't have a good message. I like this message. They tried to frame him as a lackey, a flunky for Donald Trump. But he told Trump he didn't need him to campaign for him. He's from Virginia. He knows what Virginia needs. He did it on his own. Now, did Donald Trump support him? Yeah, he did, but he didn't need him to come in town and whip up crowds because he already knew, I got a message, this guy doesn't. This guy's message was, don't vote for him, he supported Trump. That's it. These people, these leftists think that the American people are just stupid. Okay, he supported Donald Trump, don't vote for him. Don't mean he support all of Donald Trump's policies. Like, you can support somebody or vote for somebody, but don't like everything about them. So I don't know where this mindset comes from. If you vote for somebody, it's a little hot in here. I'm in the old Jeep. Okay. I don't know where this mindset comes from. If you vote for somebody, you agree with everything that they say. That's not true. You can freaking be married to somebody and not agree with everything they say. So how is it that I can support a candidate, whether he's Democrat or Republican, but I supposedly have to believe in everything they believe in? That's not true in politics. That's not true in marriage. That's not true with your kids. You don't have to agree with everything somebody says because you support them. You support your kids. You agree with all the dumb crap you hear from them? All the stuff they go to school, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school, college, trade school, and they got some leftist telling them some crap, or they hear some leftist bull crap, and they come home and tell you, yeah, well, my boss or my professor or my teacher said blah 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 blah, and you supposed to say, okay, since I support you, I support what they tell you and what you telling me. No, it don't work like that. That's not real life. And Glenn Youngkin showed that by whipping Terry McAwful. I call him McAwful. Terry McAuliffe. He tore him up in Virginia. And that's a bell cow. That's what they like to say. Whenever a Republican loses, they call that, man, that's gonna be the trend. Republicans in trouble. When Republicans lost when Trump was in office, that reflects directly on Donald J. Trump. Okay, using their language and using the way they look at this political atmosphere, then this loss is on Joseph Robinette Biden, because he is awful. And it ain't because he's awful because he's a Democrat. Because, no, do I support him as a Democrat? No. But it's not because he's a Democrat. It's because this Jeep I'm driving in, it used to cost me $32 to fill up when Trump left office. Now I'm at $52. So now I'm paying $20 more per fill up. For me, I can afford that. But I ain't just talking about me. I'm talking about others that don't make the money I make and does not have a secure retirement like I have. That's what I'm talking about. Other people. Because it ain't always about you. You always got to look at every issue as how does it affect the other person. This is the United States. We can't be selfish and say, oh, I like that. I'm good with it. But somebody that's less fortunate than you, or don't make as much money as you, is destructive to their financial outlook. You know, that extra $20 two times a week, or maybe one time a week, depending on, some people fill up twice a week. So that's what, $40 a week, you know, and that's $160 a month. Man, that's a good chunk of your budget when you paying, like if you got kids, you know, food prices are up. That's another thing. Food prices. Food prices are way up. And then when you get to the store, there's nothing on the shelf. Why? Because all the ships are sitting out in the ocean, on the ports, California. Because there's no truck drivers. Because people look at it like, well, why should I drive? The government paying me to stay home. You know, that's why you can't have a welfare state. People think that, okay, I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but this is always going to be my team. People think that if the government give me this, give me that, give me this $3.9 trillion thing they trying to get passed, they gonna give you this. They gonna give you free pre-K and all that stuff. They gonna give you free community college. They ain't giving you nothing. All the money the government has comes from the people. The government has no money. The government doesn't earn any money. All they do is take it from people like me and you, and they give it to what they want to give it to. And that money, most of that 3.9 trillion is going to go right back to the Democrat Party. It's going to go to social programs. It's going to go to battery powered cars, all this bull crap out here. That money is into their friends, you know, and then when they want to put money in their own pocket, they'll give it to like an organization like Save the Turtles, you know, or Save the Sheep, or birth control, not bullets for deers. And what happens is when they funnel money to these clowns, those clowns kick back the money to them. So it's like money laundering. Man, look, don't fall for that crap. $3.9 trillion is a lot of money. I think to count from 1 to a trillion, it probably will take you about maybe 10 or 15 years. If you counting, you're just sitting there counting from 1 to a trillion. It'll take you between 10 to 15 years, depending on how fast you count. That's just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about it, man. Sorry. Oh, politically correct. No cold, just dry throat. They talk about trillions of dollars like they talking about $30. Do you realize if they take a 3.9 trillion, they get this passed, the next time they're gonna ask for 7 trillion? You think they're gonna stop when they get to 3 point? Like, you really think when they get to 3.9 trillion, they gonna say, well, we good. We don't need no more money. We good for life. No. They just asked for what? Was it almost $1 trillion maybe a year ago? And now they back again asking for 3.9 trillion. And they call it infrastructure. Because who's going to argue against building roads and bridges and transit systems? They lying. They always say this. Even if they are going to improve those areas of our roadways and our transit system, it doesn't take $4 trillion. It doesn't take that much money. So that's the lie. Stop listening to them. Use your common sense. I don't care what party you with. You vote based on what they talking about, and fact check these people, man. This is black dude's opinion. And this opinion got nothing to do with where I work, or who I talk to, or what news agency I look at. Ain't got nothing to do with none of that. So you can cancel all that trying to cancel me. Because this ain't got nothing to do with my professional opinion, my job, about what news I look at. He listen to right wing. None of that. Use your damn common sense. Black dude's opinion. Out.